I, the boot camp, which was kind of approximately 3.5 weeks, was critical for us for a number of reasons. I mean, primarily, we were very aware of the fact that as actors, we were given an enormous task in terms of representing an incredibly skilled group of people who learn their craft over a number of years through far harder version of training. So we were aware that what we were learning was a very kind of condensed, intense but condensed and comparably limited, skill set. However, Ray Mendoza, our co-writer and co-director and former Navy SEAL instructor, was able to kind of take us through our paces and set us up for success in terms of getting the kind of best chance of representing the gentleman that we were representing accurately. So it was great from a sort of technical standpoint, but also emotionally, and culturally, I think it allowed us to develop a really deep and meaningful bond, genuine sense of camaraderie, and this idea that we were all a team before we were an individual, and that was key. That underpinned everything we did on set, and I can't imagine this experience without that.
Yeah, I think it was fundamentally like everything. Like sometimes before a movie you try and prep, you try and do things, and sort of the boot camp was the prep, right? Like it was a lot of not only learning guns training, tactics to clear a room, radio, chatter, fundamentals of medical care. It was all protocol, and it actually allowed us to sort of create, it was sort of our job to learn as much about the person we were playing and actually have their personalities and souls come out through protocol. And so it sort of fundamentally ironed out some of the actor in us and allowed us to sort of just really act in the moment and allow the character to come out through protocol. So it was really fundamental to all of that. And then on top of that, just the bond that was created. I think you feel a lot of love and care in the movie, and that was because of the things Ray sort of put us through and taught us, and the bonds that we all learned.
Yeah, well, we got a tattoo around, what was it, like maybe right after rap, right before rap?
Yeah, most of the guys got it right after rap.
Most of the guys, yes. Let me clarify. Most of the guys got it right after rap, let's just say.
Not to call myself out.
We went to a beautiful tattoo parlor down here in London. Shout out to whoever we went to. I don't remember. But yes, what we got, a few of us got on our upper thigh under the underwear because I don't want to sit in that makeup chair for an extra 30 minutes. I got to clarify that. Everyone always asks me why I got it there. No, it says Call On Me. It's a song from the early 2000s. If you guys remember that, I was way too young.
There's many sort of meanings to it, but one of the main reasons, or the surface level reason, is it's a callback to the opening of the film. The song at the beginning, which is obviously a very, I think it's a great moment, and it's a very important moment for the characters.
Like the cheesy aspect is like, we were like, it's a little way to be like, we can call on each other. If no matter where you're at in the world, you can call on each other. Very cheesy, but whatever. Regarding to our true to life counterparts, these men, before they would go out to deploy or before they would go on a mission, it is in a sense, it became a tradition for these men to watch music videos before they would go out. This is before the days of true YouTube and social media. So they would have discs that they would pass around each other and music videos that they would show to each other. If you've watched the music video, you would understand why these guys probably watch the music video every single time they go out. But it became a tradition for them. And every single time that we would, in a sense, not every single time, but a lot of times before we would film, we would play that same song too. Or when we got to set that day, we would play that same song.
And then also it's just there's an element of anyone who has that tattoo, they can feel safe in the fact that they always have someone to call on. They can call on anyone else who has that tattoo, and they'll pick up.
One of the nicest things about it, albeit a little bit cheesy, maybe, is that we do genuinely feel like we can call on each other. you know, after this experience, and hopefully long afterwards as well. And
Yes.
the bonds that we've developed, you know, kind of will exist long after the film is released, I think. And now it's gonna exist in physical form on a permanent basis, unless someone wants to go through a very painful process.
Yes, exactly. I like going first, so I'll let him explain his after. You know, we all had the pleasure of gaining nicknames. A lot of times it came naturally. You know, we had people named Lambone because he was eating lamb. And there was a bone after, so he just got that. So many other great nicknames. My nickname that I got, you know, it was the pleasure of getting, actually, to be honest, was you know. Ray's nicknames, you know, Dozer is something I was called because of Ray Mendoza. Very smart.
Also, you took a lot of naps.
I took a lot of naps.
Like a double entendre.
Very much so, double entendre like that. Double entendre for sure. I used to take a lot of naps, so Dozer works perfectly. Also, baby Ray. Yeah, he can tell his.
Ray called me out on that one day. He was like, "Are you saying Doza or Dozer?"
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember
he was like,
that.
"My name's Mendoza." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm in trouble."
We were messing up his name the whole time when we were giving myself that nickname. So,
I was for sure. My nickname was Daddy. I think it was because I was getting on guys' backs about, you know, things that pertain to like being on time and, you know, making sure like we were clearing up and not leaving trash around and, you know, had we eaten enough, that kind of thing. So I was kind of like, lost and found. I was kind of in a sort of, I don't know, slightly kind of like parental role at times, and maybe a bit of a nag also. But yeah, Daddy was my nickname.
My nickname was Babyface, and the significance of that was that I looked like the youngest probably, and I was the youngest as well, still am. And yeah.
Mine was a Booger because it was the nickname of the man that I was portraying, the real man.
Yeah. And I was Gandalf because I looked pretty much exactly like a wizard the whole time. So it was just sort of that and Gandolfini. So
it's about kind of emphasizing the devastation of war, the negative consequences, and you know, this is a very literal depiction, devoid of any kind of like Hollywood grammar in how the story's told. There's no romanticization or glorification. This is just an exploration of loss for everyone involved and everyone impacted by war, and it's informed by the facts of the event, and you know, corroborated by memory and a coalition of testimonies. And in that respect, it really kind of breaks with convention and hopefully offers something new within the canon of war films.
Yeah, and just to add on to piggyback what he said, in my opinion, I grew up watching a lot of war films in my childhood. This is the first ever, you know, film that I've watched where I felt like it really depicted how young our frontline soldiers are. You know, sadly, in other films, not to put any other films down, but sadly in other films we see that a lot of the times in these positions they're very old men, and they're depicted as, they're depicted as old men or older men, and that's not the case at all. I mean, you know, a lot of the men who were there that day were in their early 20s. One person just turned 20, you know, and so it was they're very much kids being sent to these wars, you know, older men, you know, starting wars, and young kids being sent to them. So that's something I feel like, you know, is depicted, and, you know, people should take away from for sure.
I have no preconceived notions of or expectations or wishes for them to take anything from it. I just hope that they go see it, because I think it's something that's designed just to be immersed in and just to be for people to be a witness to. So I just hope they watch it.
And see the consequences. Bear witness. You know, I think it's about consequences all around for everyone involved.